Alright guys, today I'll be reviewing Kumba. Now, this is truly one of the best B&Ms out there, and I had high expectations going into it, but I'd say it met those expectations. It is, almost top 25 worthy for me. However, coming back from Florida, there's really something that I felt was missing from Kumba, and I'll definitely explain that more in this review. So, to start off, the presentation, it looks amazing. Not quite as good as Montu, but it still looks great. Crossing that bridge, you get that absolutely iconic shot of the interlocking corkscrews. And then the queue is pretty deserted, but whatever. You're going to get into the station, and you're going to pull down your restraint. And these restraints, they're really good for B&Ms. A lot better than the vest restraints, I'll say. You pull them down, you could get some whip, some airtime with these. So yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of those. In terms of where to ride, I got 3 rides on it because it was a pretty busy day, so I couldn't get any more. But yeah, out of the 3 rides I got 1 in the front, 2 in the back. And that front row ride was on unload side, and I rode unload side and load side in the back, and I think my best ride was actually back row load side. I don't even know if it was just because it was the last ride I did and it was warmed up, but I feel like just some of the forces were a bit more pronounced on unload side back row, just because of the profiling and how you whip through some of the inversions. One in particular, you definitely get tossed around a bit more on that unload side. But I would say the front row, you get the speed and everything too. So I'd definitely try both if you can. And yeah, you're going to pull out of the station. The ops here are, they're not good here either. They're really bad on Montu and Cheetah Hunt, all them. And yeah, it's not good here either. What should have been a 10-minute wait was a 30-minute wait. But that's just Busch Gardens Tampa. That's not Kumba's fault. So you're going to start up the lift hill, and you're going to go down your first drop, and this one really doesn't do a whole lot for me. Just there kind of to pick up speed. But after that, you're going to go through a very intense vertical loop. This is better than your average B&M vertical loop, I felt, and that's kind of the theme for the entire ride. It's just a bit better than every other normal sit-down coaster with one exception. And if you look at the sequencing on this and then compared to something like Medusa East or Scream, they're literally identical. It's vertical loop, dive loop, 0G roll, Cobra roll, 2 corkscrews. That's the inversion order. And yeah, it's crazy to think that the profiling makes such a big difference, but it really does. So then after that, you're going to go through a bit above average dive loop, and then you're going to hit the hell roll. This thing's iconic. It's really well known for giving some of the best laterals in the world. I didn't think it quite lived up to the hype, but it was definitely nuts. After that, you're going to get a little, really little pop of airtime if you're on that load side, but it's not really anything to shout at, the transition between the hell roll and the Cobra roll. But yeah, the Cobra roll is my personal favorite part of the ride. I think Cobra rolls are overall really underrated, and this one's no exception. It's not quite as good as Alpengeists, but it's still really whippy, really intense. So then after that, you're going to get pummeled with more positive Gs. All the valleys on this ride have great positives and pop into the mid-course. Then you're going to drop down, not really get airtime in the back, but whatever. You hit the interlocking corkscrews. That whole sequence delivers some great whip and positives. Then you kind of lean over to the side a bit, going to the left, and not really get a whole lot of laterals, but that moment's kind of cool. And then you hit a double helix before hitting the brakes, and that is definitely a gray out moment. I like that a lot. And then you hit the brakes. So yeah, it's pretty much just a bit of a better version of a normal B&M looper. It's really bizarre, just the profiling of this 90s looper, and then compare it to the more modern floorlesses. However, I will say I was more impressed with this on the day I rode it than I was the day after, because I will say there's a coaster in particular that just does everything Kumba does, but a lot better, and that is none other than the Incredible Hulk. I mean, it's so good, Hulk. Like, if you didn't watch my review for that, go watch it, because it's such a good ride. It's Kumba, but just everything's more intense. That first zero-G roll right out of the gate is definitely a lot better than the Hell roll. And the rest of it's more intense. You got onboard audio. Most importantly, you have that disgustingly intense launch right out of the gate. That's like a top 5 launch for me. So Kumba, it's missing a lot of things compared to Hulk. But at the end of the day, it's still a way, way above average B&M looper. That's almost in my top 25. It's not the most butter smooth ride in the world, but, I don't really care. I personally like a bit of B&M rattle, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's still a great ride. It's still going to earn an 880 out of 1,000 for me. It's not quite as intense as I thought it would be, even though I kind of thought that before I rode Hulk. But even with Hulk sort of ruining it for me, it's still a great ride. Third in the park. Definitely something you got to get out to. So let me know what you guys think of Kumba down in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.